Good morning. It's Saturday, October 22nd, 2022. The song in my head is Superconductor by Rush, because if you wake up in the morning with a song by Rush in your head, you're going to rock. Let's find out what the postcard of the day is from the MoMA Modern Women collection, then I'll talk about what I'm doing this weekend. That's Catherine Opie's Dyke, 1993. Chromogenic print, 40 inches by 30 inches. I will probably send this to somebody in an ironic way, I guess. So, the thing that happened yesterday, the great art critic Peter Schjeldahl died at, I guess, about 80 years old from the lung cancer he'd been diagnosed with, I guess, in 2019. He wrote a great essay about that in The New Yorker where his art criticism ran. When was I recorded a podcast with Peter in August of 2021. It was a month or so after I got diagnosed with leukemia, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life getting to sit down with him for an afternoon, play around a miniature golf, have some lunch, do some gabbing. I went up to Bovina, New York, where he lives about 2.5 hours away from me, with a very different set of expectations as to what our podcast would be about. I was thinking real art, mortality, etc., because he was, well, he was recovering, sorry, from the lung cancer. Immunotherapeutics had treated him really well. He was in less dire straits. And I thought the contrast of what he went through and what I had just gone through, especially with that 10-day stretch of not knowing what sort of leukemia or cancer I was going to have or be diagnosed with. Anyway, it was going to be really somehow, mystical in significance. Turned out to be none of that. We ended up having a really great conversation that was down to earth in a lot of ways, because that was what was important, not the mysticism and elusiveness of art in the face of his impending death and a great round of miniature golf. It was it was a day I'll never forget. It was absolutely wonderful. I'm very, very sad that he's gone. We all knew it was coming. I mean, 80 years old, lung cancer, still smoking, which he did constantly through our podcast. I don't know what to say. You, if you have not read it, should get his most recent collection of reviews, Hot, Cold, Heavy, Light, which covers 30 years of his writing about art. I have stacks of his New Yorker pieces that are pieces that have run since that book came out. I just cut them out and save them after I read them. What I'm going to do today, in honor of Peter, is go up to Storm King, the great outdoor sculpture center in New York State, about 40 minutes away. In this piece from August of 2020, just about a year before we recorded, he wrote all about Storm King and turned me on to the place. I'd seen signs for it, but never actually went. And on the strength of his piece about it, I made the first trip up there, became a member of the organization after that, and have gone up. Well, I haven't gone up in almost a year, which is not a good thing. But we went up every quarter basically, and I want to go back up there now and maybe draw some stuff, think about Peter and him and his relationship with art and what he brought to the world. His writing was just magnificent. I was corresponding with an art critic pal of mine yesterday who said that it was Peter's criticism that made him want to become an art critic himself. We lost somebody really special, is what I'm saying. I'm incredibly thankful that he gave me an afternoon, that we got to sit down and have such a wonderful conversation. Bovina is very isolated, and I got up there. I was using my phone's GPS through my car to get up to his place. When I left, couldn't get any signal. So when I hit the reverse GPS thing on Apple Maps, it couldn't actually come up with a map for me. And so I went back pretty much the way I thought I had come, but got lost. Not badly lost. I knew, I could see the general GPS signal. I just couldn't calculate anything because there was no cell contact anywhere. Um, and I wonder if I ever found my way back. If if what I came home to, or if the person who left his place didn't have that set of coordinates and directions that he had on the way up there. Um, I don't know. We lost somebody special, like I said. You should read Peter's criticism in the New Yorker. There's a lot of it archived on their site. He used to write for the Village Voice also. That last book, like I said, Hot, Cold, Heavy, Light, has the, again, 30 years worth of his stuff. The other thing, I'm going to record with one of his peers and good friends, Jerry Saltz, the art critic at New York Magazine, next week. And I was lining up all these questions that were more about Jerry's new collection, and realized now we probably will end up having an hour of conversation about his relationship with Peter, and what Peter's work meant to him and what his friendship meant. Anyway, the very last thing, it's something I put on Twitter. In that time when I didn't know what my first oncology consultation was going to mean and what they were actually going to tell me, and I assumed I only had 6 months left to live. I I figured out a lot of how to close out my life things, and part of that was who I wanted to record with before I was gone. And I tried putting together a list, and Peter was the only name on it. So I'm awfully glad when I got the best bad news that he was up for recording with me. There was some craziness around us getting together because he'd had a fall the day before, and his daughter thought he should not record, and he brushed her aside and said, "Of course, you have to come up here." Well, I was trying to get out of it because I didn't want to kill him. Anyway, I guess all I'm saying is, just reach out. I tell people this all the time, and I've said this here. Just go out of your way. Reach out to people before they're gone, whatever the circumstances. In my case, it's the podcast stuff, but just don't let the moments go. On the strength of that, hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.